Hello and welcome to Spirit Forest. We're going to talk about my electric work on my cabin. Now this is a series of videos that I'm doing. I say this like in every cabin video, but series of videos and they play on each other. I am filming my entire journey of building my cabin and I'm welcoming you to join me. Now my channel is not only about building a cabin, it's also kind of a vlog as well, but I do label these with the word cabin in it and I will attach the playlist to the end of this video if you want to know more. I am building this cabin in Colorado, and if you are going or thinking about building a cabin in Colorado, I think this is a good video, good series of videos for you as I try to be as detailed as possible. And I have hired a builder to do some of the work, and I will be doing some of the work. Most of the work that requires inspections and permits and stuff, that's a lot more of the stuff that the builder will be doing than what I'm going to be doing. So we are going to talk about my electrical stuff and bringing my electrical to my house and the trench and why I put the trench where I did and all that kind of stuff. So let's get started. I have my friend here who's Portuguese, and I just had this amazing Portuguese sausage. I've never had that before and it was yummy. Definitely recommend that. And then I was like, I wanted to get back and all I had was some Hershey Kisses, and so I nicely melted the Hershey Kisses and in the sun, and they always taste, Hershey Kisses always taste better when they're melted. So I feel very full but very happy too. So I was actually going to get in this trench, but then I realized I don't know how I'm going to get out of the trench because I wanted you to see how deep it was. But it's about 4 feet deep or so. And I did not do this part. In fact, I was here while the guy was doing it, but I didn't want to film him because I didn't think he wanted to be filmed. But he did have his equipment here, and he just kind of, I'm sure it's self-explanatory, right? They built a trench. I'm going to get out of the frame a little bit so you can see. My trench is right next to my leach field. Again, you can see those videos as well. And my big boulder on my leach field, which I'm curious if that is too heavy for my leach field, and I'll have to do something about that boulder. But the trench is what we're talking about. This is where my electrical is going to be running through. So this goes right over to my electrical pole at in the back corner of my property. So here you see they dug it almost all the way to the house. I'm actually surprised that they didn't dig it all the way, but that's okay. I'm sure they got a plan for it. I am still at the stage of pouring the foundation currently right now, and probably one of the next things we're going to be doing is bringing the electrical wires to the cabin, as well as bringing in the well. Now the well is going to be coming towards the other direction that way, but give you kind of an idea that it's coming in through the corner. Now this here is east facing, and the front of my house is on the other side of that. So when you're building a house, you know, I was debating on bringing the electrical stuff in later or bringing it earlier. I ended up bringing it earlier in. It's actually really good for the builder because then everybody that is working on my cabin will be able to have power for all their power tools instead of having to use a generator and such. So that actually becomes a benefit, and more contractors want to work with you. If you've been following my channel, following this journey, maybe that you know that it's really hard to find contractors in this area. I am kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it's really hard to find contractors. So if I have electricity, that's good for them, because the nearest gas station is about an hour drive. So it's like a half hour there and a half hour back if they need to get more gas for their generator. So they really like it if you have power already here while they're building the cabin. Now I'm told by the builder, and I don't know how this is going to quite work yet, but they're going to have some sort of like a little pedestal type thing that they're going to make. You'll see it in a future video because I didn't understand exactly what he was talking about, but it didn't really involve me at that point because I wasn't actually doing anything yet with the cabin. But they are going to have some sort of like this temporary plug that they'll be able to use for a lot of their tools. And yeah, so shall we go venture down my trench here. You'll notice again, it's by the leach field over here. So, but my power pole is this way. Okay, we just walked along the leach field and now we're making a turn and we're going up the hill right now. So this is a pretty good slope going up the hill. I actually had one of my trails going up here too, so they utilize that a little bit. But you'll see on either side they had to tear out a bunch of trees, which always makes me really sad to do that. But it was tear out the trees here or make a straight line from the power pole, which is somewhere over here. We're gonna go back there though. A straight line from the power pole right to the house. And so that means if I'm sitting in my living room and I look out my windows, all I see is my big power pole. So what I did, it did cost me more money because it's more wire. I had them coming down like this and then turning and going towards the house. And so that way when I'm sitting in my living room, I still feel kind of isolated in the trees, in my forest, and I'm not just staring at my power pole. Okay, so I'm going to walk up here a little bit towards the power pole and I'll kind of show you. Nothing's connected yet. I just want to show you what this trench looks like so you get an idea because it's very possible the next time I come out here, they're going to lay the wire and put all the dirt back. Oh, it's really windy up here. Hopefully my mic is working really well. Pretty windy. Also really scary. I still have a lot of dead trees that I need to take down. I guess the good part, as I was walking up here, you could see that they ended up taking down a lot of my dead trees, but they took down a lot of live ones too. I guess it's all part of it. So again, I think it's probably self-explanatory. I'm just want to show this because this is part of the journey. This is part of building the cabin, was to get power to the cabin. And they built this trench. There's my power pole back here. Hopefully you can see it somewhere back there. And then there's my box right there. I know I'll get a lot of people saying, you should be 100% off grid. I do have a well and a septic and a leach field. However, my well, and we'll talk about that probably in another video when we start doing the well, but I do have to pay someone to have a well here, and it's a monthly fee. So it's as much as it's off grid, I don't have rights to the water on my property or in the well below my property. Someone else has the rights to the water. Again, another video. So the reason why I did on grid here was that I got it quoted to do solars here, and it ended up costing, it was like 3 times as much money. 3 times. And this already cost a lot, you guys. So I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't justify it. So I decided just to go ahead and be on grid. Now, there's a lot of times up here because it's so windy and we get a lot of like severe weather up here that the power does go out. And so I will be talking to the electrician at some point to kind of think of maybe options of what could I do so that way I can still heat my house while the electricity is down. But there's some things that I do need to think about because last winter, I think it was last winter, the power went out in this area for about a week. And for sure, if I have all my water in my cabin, that water is going to freeze. It gets down to -20 sometimes Fahrenheit. So it can get really, really cold here. And there are a lot of people concerned. And some of the problem is that you'll get a storm here, the power goes out, but yet the roads are closed, so you can't even get access to get to your cabin because the weather is so severe you can't get here. So those are some concerns that I have, that I just want to make sure that possibly I have a backup generator or backup solar something is kind of what I'm thinking about. I just want to make sure that he's kind of planning for that. So for those of you that think that I should be using only solar, it just costs so much. That's really what it comes down to. It just came down to cost right now. Trying to see, I'm going to turn the camera around this way because that's where my cabin is, and it's really cool because I'm not that far from my cabin right now and you can't see it. So I'm going to point this way towards the cabin. Now there is a lot of dead trees that I will have to get rid of in there. Do you see the cabin? Oh, here's my trail. So that's my trail through my property. But like you don't see the cabin. No, you think you would see where that big hole is, but you really can't see it. I'll end up having this be a trail. So this will just be, I have a trail that circles my property. So instead of what it was doing before, this is what it will be now. I actually even thought about a zip line coming down too. I think that would be a lot of fun, but I keep getting vetoed. Everyone's like, no, you'll like it for the first couple times, but then you'll be sick of it. I'm like, no, I won't. I think a zip line would be fun because I'm pretty high up on the hill here, and that would be fun going down, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, there again is my power pole, and they got, let me just go back here because some of you might not have seen this. I do have it in a past video, but they did have to cut all those trees down. There's one of my nearest neighbors kind of nestled behind that big spruce tree, and there's a road back there. So this was the cheapest way to get the power to me. In fact, when I first got it quoted, they were going to take it all the way around my lot and it was going to cost twice as much. And I'm like, then I might do solar. And then they decided that they were going to go this way. So that worked out for me really well. And I don't have a bunch of power poles on my street either. Okay, I think we should just walk to the cabin, and you can see how close it is from my power pole just from walking. Do you see it yet? You see it? It's kind of hard to kind of walk through this, but I will have to clean this up because of the fire rules and such. I did have to get a fire permit, and I'm sure they're going to require me to do a lot of changes here. Okay, we're getting there. So I could have gone this way right through my property. And there again is the cabin. So there you go, kind of just a quick video just showing you the trench, so that way it's just part of the series because it is something that was done on the property. And again, maybe the next time you see it, it will already have wire in it and it will be covered up over it, but wanted to at least show that part because it did affect my land a bit, and they took down a lot of trees in order to put that trench in. But I'm very happy that we did it the way that we did, rather than cutting right through and you know, tearing out this whole area in here. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it, and thanks to all my Patreons for all of your help and advice and everything. So I will hope to see you on the next video. Again, I have a playlist. Save it as your favorites or whatever you want to do, and you can watch this whole journey of myself building a cabin here in Colorado.